Jamaicans, you come from riches. Marcus Garvey was not lying when he said, the black skin is not a badge of shame, but rather a glorious symbol of national greatness. The further we get into this series, the more you'll see why. In our first video, we generally introduce the Akan people to you. Many of our ancestors are from the Akan ethnic group and from Ghana. Within this ethnic group, there are subgroups or tribes. Some of these are Ashanti, Anyi, Bono, Fante, and more. Before we get to their way of life, let's speak about how the Akan group got to Ghana and why they were said to be one of the most powerful and richest groups in Africa. One theory states that the Akan people are thought to have migrated from smaller kingdoms in the western Sudan region to their current location in the 11th century. Around 750 AD, these kingdoms merged to form Akkar, also known as Kumbusale. In the 11th century, the Arab historian al-Bakri documented this powerful kingdom based on information from merchants who frequently traded with the Ghanaians. Yet, mysteries showed the origins of the Akan people. Historians, while admitting the veil of uncertainty, do not dismiss the possibility of a Sudanese heritage. They emphasize the importance of oral tradition in preserving the essence of their identity. So, research actually shows conflicting info as to the actual origins. Because back then they didn't have the internet, social media, phones, and other advanced means of documenting history. So they did it best through storytelling and telling others about their experiences. That's how much information was passed on then. As time flowed like a river, the descendants of the Akan embarked on a new chapter of their saga. They set forth from their homeland, heading towards a place called Kong, now part of the Ivory Coast. From Kong, their traveler's spirit guided them to Wam, and eventually they found a new home in Dorma, nestled in what we know as the Bono region of Ghana. Now, this movement from Kong was motivated by their preference for suitable savanna conditions, as they were not accustomed to forest life. So let us know if you're following us so far. Are you following us so far? Tell us in the comments. Now, let's move on to why they are considered one of the most powerful and richest groups in Africa. So how them get rich now? Let's start the things then. The kingdom of Bonoman traces its roots back to the 12th century. This was the golden age era for the Akans. Between the 12th and 13th century, a vibrant gold rush brought prosperity to many Akans within the region. As the kingdom of Bonoman thrived, waves of Akans ventured beyond its borders, giving birth to numerous states with a focus on gold mining and the cultivation of cash crops. This migration wave marked the ascent of powerful Akan states such as the Akwamu Empire and eventually paved the way for the mighty Empire of Ashanti. From the 15th to the 19th century, the Akan people held dominion over the gold mining and trading activities in the region, making them one of the most powerful groups in Africa. Their gold fields, nestled within the forested region between the Como and Volta rivers, were renowned for their wealth. Wanna hear them things there? Alright, now what happens next might give you some mixed feelings. might even make you angry. We're gonna move on to that and then we'll wrap up the video for this part 2. Know that them rich, them start attract other people. This immense wealth in gold naturally attracted the attention of who? If you said the European traders, you are correct. Initially, it was the Portuguese who ventured into this territory, soon followed by the Dutch and the British, all in pursuit of Akan gold. However, the Akans' involvement in the transatlantic slave trade added another layer to this complex story. Alright, so now the war starts. Remember that we mentioned that Africans played a part in the transatlantic slave trade. It probably wouldn't have been as successful without them. But also note that there were always tribal wars in Africa based on what we're seeing, due to research. So war and fight was nothing new to them. We're going to do a longer video on this. We're just going to tell you a little bit about what happened here with the Akans. Now let's get into that part. The Akan people, they engage in warfare with neighboring states to capture individuals who were then sold as slaves to European traders. These traders, in turn, exchanged the enslaved individuals for Akan gold and firearms. Akan gold also served as currency to acquire slaves from regions further north through the Trans-Saharan route. These enslaved individuals were crucial in clearing the dense forests within Ashanti. Remarkably, about a third of the population in many Akan states were indentured servants, often non-Akan people. Over time, the Akan transitioned from being buyers of slaves to becoming sellers, driven by shifting dynamics in the Gold Coast and the New World. In 2006, Ghana formally apologized to the descendants of enslaved Africans for its historical role in the slave trade. Despite their engagement in the slave trade, Akan people, particularly the Ashanti, fiercely resisted European colonialists and won several battles to maintain their autonomy. This defiance was evident in conflicts like the War of the Golden Stool during the Anglo-Ashanti Wars. No wonder none of the Maroons did stay so. She was protective, she was fierce, she was a leader, she was rebellious. Yeah, you know that they say that Nani of the Maroons is from the Ashanti tribe. So connect the dots. Alright, let's wrap up. By the early 1900s, Ghana had become a colony of Great Britain, while the Ivory Coast was under the French rule. And the 6th of March 1957, under the leader of Kwame, Ghana gained independence from Great Britain and united with British Tongaland and several regions of the Gold Coast to form the nation we know today. Ivory Coast, on the other hand, achieved its independence on August 7, 1960. And we're going to close it there. It's quite a lesson how Ghana, the Akan people, they were pretty powerful, pretty rich, and they ended up a colony. Now we'll speak about that another time. No, thank you so much. If you like this, tell us in the comments, thumbs up, share. We love to read your comments. Say hi. Due to the time it takes to do a video in this series, I'll be doing it in parts. So in the next video, we'll speak about the Akan culture, their way of life, their language, their religion, their music, and so forth. And we're pretty excited to do more in this series. Are you excited to hear more? Let us know. Alright, so that's it. You take care of yourself, take care of each other, and be proud. Jamaicans. We come from richness and we deserve all the greatness. We just cannot make the same mistakes our ancestors made because history is not a mystery. It teaches you a lot of lessons. And for those who want to learn. Alright, so that's it. See you a little later.